Freedom! 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 Yesterday!
I've been protesting out there since June. I've got friends out there.
Alright, mate.
Sorry?
Alright, how are you doing?
Good, mate.
And then testing was not done on animals. It was only done on human beings. And then today we're being told a priest died during the vaccine trial. Are you prepared to have the government check if they say
alla.
You can stick your poison vaccines up your ass. You can stick your poison vaccines up your ass.
There's also a lot of, I mean,
Hey Nancy, catch up! How you doing? All right?
Yeah.
They did in the back big press.
And then she like, they literally, people walk by, they were like,
That was a nice skip and jump, mate.
Robert, and I've been coming to these demonstrations since July, when I flew back from Thailand, where I've been working as a teacher for 20 years. When this fake COVID pandemic started, all the schools in Thailand closed. So after 6 months broke, I flew back to England thanks to help from somebody else on the way back to Australia. But they locked up Australia even worse than what we are locked up. So knowing that if I went back to Australia I'd be in jail now, I decided to stay here and fight for the good cause here. Now, what Boris is doing to everybody is 100% illegal. You have no right under the Constitution of England or the Magna Carta or the Bill of Rights to be doing what you're doing. Everybody has the right to freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and freedom not to accept any vaccine. And I'm telling everybody in the world, do not take a vaccine that will damage you, will damage your children, and will also cause havoc to our society over a long period of time. There will be so much sickness that the NHS really won't be able to cope with it, as now it's coping very well with nobody there. Anyway, that's what my little story is. And please, thank you everybody for coming, because we need to fight this fight to the very end. If we don't, we're the ones that are going to lose. And we're not going to lose, are we?
No!
Boris, did you hear us? We are not going to let you win.
Here, here.
Freedom! Freedom! Freedom!
Again, everybody, we're in the fight of our lives. We're in the fight of our children's lives. And we're here, and we will build in numbers, despite what has gone on this week, despite the amount of money, the 77 Brigade, Facebook, YouTube, and every other social media. Well, there's a laugh in there, like social distancing. Right, all that's against us. All you people managed to get down here. And the photographers and the press, thank you as well for now taking us seriously. But believe me, we will build, because Santa, can we have the Santas over here as well, guys?
Go on, Santa.
Alright, can we have the tree flags over here as well, girls, with the Santa hats on as well? Make a lovely photographing, Will. Alright, well done, guys. Now, hold on, let's make sure they go fast here. That's it, go and catch some criminals. I'd also like to say thank you for the police facilitating us, because it's not the police on the ground that are our enemy. It's the ones that's giving the orders, the ones that's in the pocket of Boris Johnson. And in a second, I'm going to read out the letter that I read out in front of New Scotland Yard, which is just over there. That's the building, that's the car park, that there is the Ministry of Defence. They're the ones that drive. And by the way, while I was here for 55 days, I was watching a lot of activity between there and there, and there. Time and time again. Army generals in their fatigues, which is not a good sign. This is not a country that's under a terrorist threat, no matter what you think. It's a lie of COVID. That's the threat that we're under. That's how they're using the 77 Brigade to keep the truth suppressed. To keep people like me suppressed. But I'll tell you what, when you're a true campaigner, you fight to the end. And I'll give you my promise. I will fight my last breath if it means I can help us win against this toxic company, Big Pharma, and the corporate takeover of this planet. We are now being empowered because we know. And there are enough people that know. Believe me, there are enough now to finish the job. The only problem we have is that we're not talking to each other. There are good people in the groups that are being controlled that are not talking to each other. What we need to do now is reach out to those people. Let them know that we will be here again next Saturday, and the Saturday afterwards, and the Saturday after that. We don't do one march a month, we do it every single week. So next weekend, we will be here. I will be in Nottingham. I will be outside Westminster the following day, when Parliament are making a decision if they're making vaccines mandatory. We do not consent. All that's being passed in Parliament now are not laws, they are acts. And you, as citizens of this country, do not consent. We do not consent to have poisons pumped into our bodies, to have poisons pumped into our children that will sterilise them. The information is all out there. And I've just got a fraction here, which I'm going to read out to you now. So thank you for the Santas that turned up today. The other one is Eddie. He said he's going to get we might have arrived a bit early for him actually. He's going to come down as well. He's going to get the underground tour here. So what we're going to do is, this is important that you get this out. This is Cressida Dick. I have put her on notice. I have given her evidence. Enough evidence, it's only the tip of the iceberg. I've given her enough evidence that she can now bring charges against Matt Hancock, Chris Whitty, Sir Patrick Balance and Boris Johnson to put them in prison.
Put them in prison!
So let's have a listen to this. So this was how I read out the other day. I read this out on yesterday, was it?
Thursday,
yesterday.
yeah.
Was it Thursday?
Thursday.
I'm losing days now. So my name is Gayza Tariani.
No, it was Friday.
And I'm here putting you on notice that I intend to bring criminal charges against you, this is Cressida Dick, for perverting the course of justice under common law, and for upholding the treason of the British Prime Minister. Excuse me, 1 minute. What it is, you can hear the voices on the cameras here. They're not being put in the layer your voice, so know what's being put on here. Alright, okay. Just for future reference, that's all. Alright, so I'll start again. So, this is the letter of notice to Metropolitan Police Commissioner Cressida Dick. Ms. Dick.
Hey!
My name is Gayza Tariani, and I'm here today to put you on notice that I intend to bring criminal charges against you for perverting the course of justice under common law, and for upholding the treason of the Prime Minister and his government by instructing your officers to unlawfully assault, arrest and charge innocent citizens, and by association with the said traitors for your unlawfully causing damage to the livelihoods and businesses on the back of fraudulent evidence that COVID-19 is a dangerous pandemic. Your failure to investigate this organised mega crime and the lies is crushing our economy and people's spirits, causing widespread alarm, distress and even deaths of many thousands of British men, women and children. Not to mention destroying our NHS by stopping life-saving treatments and surgeries. I will be demanding the immediate suspension of your role as Metropolitan Police Commissioner for gross misconduct in office until we have the full and independent inquiry into your role in prolonging the suffering of the British public, and specifically your incitement to your force in August to embarrass those not wearing masks. That was incitement. This is both mental and disability discrimination, and is a damning indictment of this government, the London Mayor and the media that there was no outcry. It is also remarkable that your force have virtually COVID-free, as you attest. This was in your own words. Although there have been many crimes and much malpractice under your watch as Police Commissioner, I would like to focus on one that was printed on the back of my latest unlawful arrest for standing up to the treason of our government, led by Boris Johnson, and in anticipation of further police actions against me, especially since your deputy, Neil Basu, has branded anti-vaxxers terrorists and accuses us of radicalising the youth of Britain. This means that according to the latest coronavirus laws passed by a corrupt government, supported by Labour, I can now be interrogated, raped, murdered and buried with no coroner's investigation or autopsy. Welcome to Britain 2020. This police advisory notice, PAN in brackets, was handed to me after my 5th arrest as a warning to scare me off from exposing the traitors in government, being protected both by your unlawful actions against us and unprofessional inactions on the part of Boris government and his medical advisors. A copy of this document is provided with this letter. I handed in 2 brown envelopes into Charing Cross Police Station on the same day, with evidence and this letter, and also a memory stick. Perverting the course of justice. This is what's printed on the back of the arrest sheets. So this is supposed to be, I can be of life imprisonment should I break this law. And I'm upholding this law now against Cressida Dick and police command around this country. This is what it says. Under common law, it is an offence to commit, to conspire, act or embark upon a course of conduct which has a tendency to and is intended to pervert the course of public justice.
But that's not common law.
Hold on. Some of the ways work conducted is capable of amounting to the above offence. It's making false allegations, committing perjury, concealing offences, obstructing the police, assisting others to evade arrest. We don't have to look far for that, do we? Failing to prosecute, interfering with witnesses, which I am, evidence, jurors and publications of matters calculated to prejudice a fair trial. We don't have to look further than the media. In a recent request handed to your officers in the early hours of 21st of August 2020, at this very protest pen, across from Downing Street, a copy of the letter was enclosed in the brown envelope I dropped off the other day. Evidence was included that you were then in full knowledge that COVID-19 was not a contagious or as deadly as we were led to believe by SAGE, including advisors Chris Whitty and Sir Patrick Vallance. Amongst the matters listed in the reasonable request, it was a very long list. Your officers are packed in the back of OSU vans for many hours with no masks on, and less than 6 inches apart. Yet I believe up to that date that there have been no deaths from COVID-19. No one self-isolated for 14 days having been in contact with persons they believe have COVID-19. It is also stated that the police officers had no faith in the track and trace system, noting that the data was going to private companies like Serco, S-E-R-C-O, just in case we mishear it. Who I might add are running many of our police stations and prison services, so I'm afraid the horse has already bolted on that one. It also contains an article from Sky News listing concerns by the police that the track and trace system could put lives and investigations at risk and close whole stations down. But it seems to be quite okay for the public. You now know and have a choice to do the dignified thing and step down and allow a more competent ranking police officer to investigate the fraud and corruption of Downing Street and Westminster, or to begin doing your job and save some of your dignity by protecting the victims and not the criminals. You now have limited time, as by next week I will be bringing a class action against those complicit in crimes against the British people, including fraud, treason, malfeasance and misfeasance in office, and the genocide of many thousands of innocent people. I am demanding an investigation into the Chief Medical Officer Chris Whitty and SAGE team links to recovery trial, which found the main remedy for COVID-19, hydroxychloroquine, further known as, in brackets, HCQ, to be ineffective, when it has since been well publicised that victims who took part in the trials were deliberately given overdoses of HCQ in order to undermine the validity of this proven safe drug as a remedy for COVID-19.
Bullshit.
If it's taken in the first 5 days of diagnosis, conversely,
Famous
the
now,
instructed, excuse me, you know better. It has taken the first 5 days of diagnosis. Conversely, the instructions put out by Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock and SAGE team were for patients to be sent home to deteriorate until the NHS had no option but to return them to hospital and place them on ICUs with a very low prospect of recovery. If they did survive, they would have some long-suffering term damage to lungs and other organs. HCQ can also be successfully used as a prophylactic. Thus vulnerable people could be protected. A proposed HCQ. I draw your attention to the enclosed letter sent to Boris Johnson, putting him on notice of liability for any debt pursuant to the continuing to withhold HCQ from the public. It therefore behoves you to bring charges against him for all subsequent deaths from that time of that letter and email being sent to Boris Johnson from COVID-19, when he knew full well they were preventable. Also included with this notice is a letter dated the 7th of 2020 to Donald Trump, the President of the United States, from Dr. Valenko, Board Certified Family Protection. In that letter, he says and states that hydroxychloroquine, that patients he'd given it to, I don't need to go through all of it, that it was used as a prophylactic and a treatment. I'm going to skip to the end now, and then my final statement. All this will be put up onto the pages. Share this. This will go to the press. We ask for the immediate suspension of Cressida Dick and Neil Basu from their positions. When people like you are classed as terrorists, people like you then can be raped, imprisoned, interrogated and killed without an autopsy. That is Britain today. And that now has to be questioned by the courts, by the justice, while we still have freedom, while we still have our human rights. This here was a letter from Piers Corbyn. Yay! And this was after the brutality that was met out on the 26th, or the 19th I should say, of September this year. This was a letter to Sadiq Khan, Mayor of London. And this was concern for the police brutality towards peaceful protesters during the pandemic, and there was a formal complaint. In the letter he says, I refer to the above and to the email sent to you both of even date, which I also copied to a raft to other organisations, specifically a raft of legal challenges to the government and the IOPC with regards to London. There is a significant concern that BLM and Extinction Rebellion are allowed free passage to create mayhem in London streets, televised by the media and the police. Controlled by who? Very good question. Not engaging extremists. Conversely, peaceful protesters were met with brutal violence by the police on Saturday, and were medical whistleblowers at Trafalgar Square event held on the 19th of September 2020. Please be advised that this is now referenced as London's Tiananmen Square. by international press who reported on such brutality, please respond. Enough people at the event are coming forward as witnesses, and this will be evidenced by formal complaints of brutality towards peaceful protesters, including families, women and children, and certainly expectant mothers. Please respond. Links to the studies and information on the safety of hydroxychloroquine is also on the video, on the memory stick. And this is my final statement. I have provided a leaflet from our upcoming political rally that will start from Hyde Park on Saturday, which was today, a meeting at 12 o'clock to march as soon as we are ready. We'll be ending up at Downing Street. This has been facilitated by the police on the 3rd, 10th and 19th of October, when we peacefully walked from Hyde Park to Downing Street. I will follow the guidelines and directions that have already shown that no one is threatened or is at risk, with the aim to show that we are not going to live under a PM and a Parliament of traitors. We are the public, and we are now the only opposition against Boris Johnson and his ministers. If any harm or threat should come to any that attend our peaceful rally on Saturday the 5th, 12th and 19th of December, I shall hold you, Cressida Dick, personally responsible and use the full weight of the law to bring charges against you and your estate for perverting the course of justice. You are in office to uphold the law, to protect the victims, which is us, and arrest and convict the criminals, which is Matt Hancock, Boris Johnson and their associates. All the above, named by law, have a duty of care. If they harm anyone, once they know the dangers, they are liable for criminal charges and can go to prison. This goes right up to the Prime Minister. Yes, you, Boris. You have now been provided with enough evidence, not all the evidence, enough evidence, to charge the guilty and protect the British public from the avoidable harm. I signed it, I dated it, I handed it into to Charing Cross Police Station only 2 days ago. The email, my phone number, like every organised meeting I put, where I face £10,000 fines. I laugh at the fines, because Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock, Chris Whitty, Sir Patrick Vallance, Cressida Dick do not want to see me in court. They do not want me to protect not only you, but also the police officers that have to follow these ridiculous orders to suppress freedom of speech. They don't want to be doing the job. But what they need to see now is the public of this country for the next Saturday, the 12th, the week after that, until we get the numbers down here, to force the police to say to them, arrest the criminals that is over there in 10 Downing Street. The reason I was here for 55 days in this pen, because I knew it would get harder in winter. I wanted to raise the numbers up down here. But where was the media? Where was the independent media? Where were the ones that were supposed to be working together that say I'm dividing people? Those people that would give their leaflets out, thousands of leaflets for stand-up X, thousands of leaflets for Save Our Rights. Where are they today? Where were they last week? Where were they at King's Cross, at Angel? I say to them and those independents out there, pull your finger out. If you are not opposition to us, if you are not controlled opposition, get down to Hyde Park next week and the 19th. Build our numbers up. Get them down to Downing Street and put Boris in prison. My record is on Facebook. Quadrilla, the company I was taking on for 9 years, I pulled out of Preston New Road, pulled out of Bamber Bridge. That's my record. I'm on down here now to save my country, to save our elderly, to save our children's futures. If you want to chat with me, come and have a chat down here. Because what you're doing is, you're stopping the thousands, getting down here where we do the damage, where we say, we do not consent. I will face anybody. I will answer anybody's questions. I have put these people on notice. This has worked before in fracking. It will work now. But we now need people to wise up. Stop holding the higher ground. Stop saying to the people without masks that they are sheep. When you are following the bells and whistles, going down Oxford Street, going everywhere but here. We are peaceful. We are lawful. We can bring down this government. We, the public, can run this country. We, the public, can protect the law, like we have done today. The police are facilitators again today. Thank you for that. But we put pressure on the justice system. We put pressure on those acts in Parliament. In Parliament, where you've got less people than you've got on a bus. That's what they've done to this country. They've lied to the British people. They've lied the hydroxychloroquine. Sage have lied. If we had that treatment, we would not now be putting billions into vaccines. Your children, your elderly, the police force, the frontline services that are leaving the NHS because they do not want to have that poison in their body. We have the evidence. We are just. We are lawful. And we want justice. My name is Gayza Frackman. Freedom!
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 Thank you, everybody. Bring your friends, talk to your friends, get it on social media. I'm going nowhere. On my last breath, I will fight for justice in this country. Because I am Britain, and we will be Boris-free. I am Britain, and we will be COVID-free. Freedom!
Freedom!
Thank you, everybody. Anybody else want to have a chat? Feel free.